Generation 6's Mega Evolution gimmick introduced players to the concept that seemingly bad Pokemon can become great years after their introduction. Terrible Pokemon like Mawile and Kangaskhan finally got a chance to shine, and became either staples of the metagame or even banned to Ubers. Every Mega Evolution added a hilarious stat total boost of 100 to each Pokemon that got one, which is more than a lot of evolutions. For some incomprehensible reason, some of the strongest Pokemon in history also got their own Mega Evolutions, which was quite a questionable decision, with the form change pushing several Pokemon up to and past 700 base stat total, and single-handedly creating the Anything Goes tier, thanks to the completely bonkers numbers associated with this freak of nature. Which means that most players saw that arguably the most powerful non-legendary or mythical Pokemon up until that point, Garchomp, would be receiving its own Mega Evolution. They understandably went crazy. For all of Pokemon history, you can shut up about Gen 9, Garchomp has been a staple of the OU metagame, excluding Generation 4 when it was actually banned to Ubers for being too strong. Garchomp is by no means a unique Pokemon, but it simply does it better than most other mons in the market. It's a fast wall breaker, only it's faster, it's stronger, and it has a perfect typing for dealing a ton of damage to everything in sight. Apart from a special attack stat of 80, which is never really used, Garchomp is essentially min-maxed for what it's made for. 130 attack is a lot, even for OU caliber Pokemon, and breaking the 100 speed barrier is one of the biggest factors going towards making Garchomp usable. Outspeeding other wall breakers with 100 base speed makes Garchomp great for dealing with other attackers who would switch in after a team member faints. All of this and more made Garchomp incredibly powerful in every possible metagame it could have joined. Naturally, everything about the last paragraph is why people were simultaneously excited and terrified of what was to come. Would Garchomp be given some overpowered ability like Sand Force or Multiscale? Would it shore up its defenses or turn it into an absolute monster of attack? When the time came for Pokemon X and Y to be released, people rushed to see Mega Garchomp's stats, and the results were staggering. Garchomp's attack was now tied for the second highest of all time until it was taken by the other Megas introduced, and its defensive stats were reasonably raised, making it an alright tank. And that's it. That's it? That's all there is? 40 precious stat points were allocated into the essentially useless special attack stat, and something quite interesting was done to the speed stat. Alright, so the main reason Garchomp was really good was because of its speed of 102, right? A number which is noticeably more than 100. That's the whole reason why that's good, right? So what if, and hear me out here, when we make the Mega Evolution for Garchomp, we do a little, just move that, and we turn it into 92. What does that do to this? Less than 100. This is the dumbest thing of all time. You look up the list online, this is the dumbest thing that has happened, okay? Like, this is the one. You look up the list online, right above the Minions movie, you got this, alright? A very insightful and very loud introspective from myself in real life. Very bold of that sweater to assume I'm making it post-secondary. Anywho, Mega Garchomp is useless. Not really, 170 attack is never bad, in fact it's completely insane, but simply using a different item on your regular Garchomp is more effective and less disappointing. 10 speed points doesn't look like much, but the loss of these 10 speed points makes Mega Garchomp lose its placement in the speed ranking of all Pokemon by over 100 places. 42 of which meet the 100 speed tier, which Garchomp so famously used to surpass before Game Freak ruined it. Naturally, the opportunity cost of using a different item compared to a Megastone can lead people to preferring base forms to Megas, but Mega Garchomp is the only Mega Evolution that, by the numbers, is objectively worse than its base form, simply because of the overly boosted special attack and the crippling speed loss. In earlier generations, Pokemon would be listed in a tier as OU by technicality, because usage rates had dropped to that of the tier below, but the tiers had stopped shifting because a later generation had started. This is important information, as Mega Garchomp has almost always been listed as OU by technicality, but not for this very common reason. Mega Garchomp should be in UU, and would have extreme amounts of success there and probably be banned, but Garchomp being an OU prevents it from falling down a tier, as simply not Mega evolving your Pokemon will lead to having a Pokemon of a higher caliber, which is banned from that tier, which I think is hilarious. In summation, Mega Garchomp is one of the saddest stories of wasted potential in Pokemon history, and I will be maining it in the new Pokemon Legends game, which was announced shortly before this sentence was written, 2 weeks after the rest of the script. Alright guys, see you later. Make sure to follow me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitter, 2 different websites. Make sure to follow me on Flombus. Make sure to follow me on Doodad. Make sure to follow me on Farmers Only. Follow me on all the platforms. And yeah, make sure to like the button on the video.